So, if you're a creator and you've told yourself you don't have the time to actually build a real business behind your channel or make more money from your brand or your social media or your channel, I just want to start with something that you've probably never actually heard anybody say. And the truth of the matter is, I actually do believe you. I genuinely do. You probably do not actually have the time. You probably don't have the time. You've got videos to film. You have an upload schedule that you're trying not to fall behind on. You have sponsor emails sitting in your inbox, DMs that you have not replied to. You probably have a membership or a community or some sort of coaching or a course that you're trying to keep alive and sell and make money from. You probably have UGC deals to do, brand deals, etc., etc. People ask you questions all day long, all the time. Plus, on top of all of this stuff, you have an actual life to live. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you to just make more time because that's obviously lazy advice and simply enough it's just not true. Like how can you make more time with all these different things that you have to do? Because the real reason that you feel like you actually have no time is that the way that you're actually going about making money. And it's the fact that you're going about making money, it's eating all of your time. The way you're going about it is actually eating all of your time. And the problem is you might actually not actually have a time problem in itself. You might just have a way of making money where every dollar you earn creates more work for you to go do. And if you're an educational creator, someone whose audience genuinely trusts them, which is, by the way, one of the most expensive problems that you can possibly have because you don't realize how rare and finite attention and and trust is in today's economy of today's creator online economy. You already did the hardest part of this whole entire online creator type of space. You built the attention, you've built the trust, you built a real relationship with people who actually care about what you have to say, which is some of one of the most rare skills to actually have in 2026 and beyond. But when it came time to actually make money off of all of that, the creator world basically handed you a pile of random options and called it a business. So that's going to be AdSense, brand deals, sponsorships, affiliate links. These are all things that the creator economy and the monetization space tells you that you should pursue. A digital product, a course, a newsletter, a membership, some coaching, maybe a little bit of community. In fact, the creator economy may tell you to do all these things all at once. And now your whole business and the way you make money is stretched across 5 to 10 different things. Your attention stretched across 5 to 10 different things. And honestly, as well, your audience's attention is also stretched across 5 to 10 different things too. So yeah, duh. Of course you feel busy. Of course you feel busy. You are busy. But being busy like that isn't the same as building something that actually hands you your time back. So, first of all, let me just introduce myself if you do not know who I am. My name is Divine. I'm 24. What I do is build the business behind educational YouTube channels. The easiest way that I can put it is that most creators, they just do not treat their channel like it is a real business. They treat their channel like it is the business. I help them flip that entire mindset around so that the channel becomes the thing that feeds a real education business sitting behind the channel, behind the brand. I've had creators do stuff like 10 grand in 6 days, 28 grand in 4 days, and that's with no new views, no subscribers, like no brand deals, affiliates, sponsorships, none of that. They had the exact same audience that they had prior to finding me. The only thing we changed was what was happening behind the channel. And here are some actual screenshots of, I don't know why these screenshots are blurry, but some screenshots of what we were able to actually accomplish. And as of right now, I'm building all of this toward $100 million firm out of my parents' basement and parents' house and beyond. And I'm documenting the whole climb. So if you want to watch it happen, subscribe to the channel. Yeah, it's right there. Click subscribe. I'm already subscribed to myself. What I'm going to do in this video is show you why you feel so buried as a creator time-wise, why all these little scattered ways of making money are actually what's like stealing the majority of your time, and how one focused setup can take the years of trust and expertise and attention that you have built and turn it into a way to make money faster than you think in a way that feels authentic and real to you. So that is pretty much the almost unfair part in the title because it's not because any of this is magic. It's just that you already paid for the most expensive part, which is the trust, the relationship, and the years of people actually caring about your stuff. Most people do not have that. You are blessed. You have worked very, very hard for what you have. That's the most expensive part, and we're gonna now turn that into something where it feels almost unfair how much time you have back. The business behind it is just finally giving all of that trust, relationship, and the years of people actually care about yourself somewhere to go. The normal advice that you hear as a creator is basically get AdSense, get sponsors, get brand deals. throw up some affiliate links, start a newsletter, make a course, open a membership, sell a few coaching spots. And I understand why all of this advice is everywhere, of course, because of course it sounds smart, it sounds diversified, it sounds like you're being a real business owner because look at you, you have all these multiple streams of income and ways of having money come in. Oh man, but most creators, they don't actually end up with a bunch of income streams. All they end up with is a bunch of responsibilities. Every new way to make money is just one more thing you have to keep your eyes on. One more thing to market, one more thing to update, one more thing to negotiate, one more thing your audience has to figure out, and one more thing that's also just going to break you. So you got a creator pulling in 10, 20, maybe even 50 grand a month. Some of the top creators are pulling in hundreds of thousands of dollars a month with all of their income split between these different streams. But they still feel broke when it comes to time. They're not broke on money because, of course, they're making money from these things, but they're broke on focus and energy. So the money comes in, but of course, it feels kind of random. So that's leaking energy. And the second your views dip or the brand deal slow down, the whole thing starts feeling shaky again. So not only are you feeling broke with time and broke with energy because you don't know and you don't feel that security in the fact that, hey, I don't know how much money I'm going to be making next month, you might actually start to become broke financially wise because everything is just inconsistent and random. And this is the actual problem. You've got a bunch of income streams and no real engine underneath them. That's a very, very important word. So stay tuned because we're going to uncover what an engine actually is. You need something that's actually repeatable and predictable. And the fact is, a creator can have 7 different ways to make money and still not have a business. That's the truth. A business has one clear promise, one clear person it's for, one clear problem it solves, and one clear way it turns attention into money on purpose. So most creator monetization is not that. It is more like patchwork. A brand deal here, an affiliate link there, a course that kind of sells all like randomly and inconsistently, a membership half your people forgot they're even paying for, and that's why your membership community pretty much, I don't like, the engagement sucks. Let's just be real here. Let's just be honest. But since it's all scattered like that, you fall back on the one move you already know how to do, which is naturally what the creator economy tells you to do: post more, make more content, chase more views, just so that you can keep the machine that you have running every single month alive. It only stays alive from your posting. And who knows, you might not get that viral video next month. You might not get those views next month. The algorithm might change again. If more content was really the answer, a lot of you would already be free. So, because you already have the content, you already have the trust, and you already have people watching you, the problem isn't in the fact that you have a content problem or that the views that you're getting, like you're not getting enough views or whatever. It's what actually happens after the attention shows up. So after you get the views, after you post the content and you get engagement, it's what actually happens after the attention. That's actually where the problem lies. So what the 5+ different income streams, this is what it actually costs you, because there is a cost. There's a cost to everything, whether it's time, energy, finances. This is what the cost is, and pretty much nobody in the creator space talks about this. And I've been talking about this for the past 3 years, and I'm going to continue to. But I hope people can, start to become aware to this, because when you're making money through 10 random things, at the end of the day, your audience is just going to be confused. Like, they don't know what you actually help them with, because one day you're pushing a sponsor for toenail cream or like a mushroom supplement. Next day, it's an affiliate link towards buying mugs. Then there's a newsletter. Then some $49 thing that you sell. Then a membership. Then another digital product. Then coaching. Then a course you're working on. Oh, hop on this wait list for the next round of my mentorship. Your audience might still love you, and chances are they probably do. They might still watch every video that you put out. But the problem is, trust by itself doesn't always turn into somebody actually buying from you. For people to actually buy from you, they have to understand what you sell, who it's for, and why it matters right now for them. And a ton of creators have all this audience trust that they've built. They just do not have a clear path for all this audience trust for somebody to come from them to actually work with them. So what happens is that demand leaks into your DMs instead, naturally, of course. If people are unclear on what they want to buy or what the next step is, of course they're going to just ask you questions in your DMs. It's a natural next step. So people are going to ask you random questions, like people go, hey, do you coach? People basically raise their hand asking for the next step, but you don't really have a clear thing to send them to that next step. And because you've got nothing cleaner certain to send them to, every one of these messages turns into more unpaid work, more money and revenue just sitting in your DMs and messages and emails, and ultimately more of your time gone. Then you say you don't have time. And again, like I said, I believe you. I wouldn't have time if I was doing some of these things as well. The missing time came straight out of the missing structure. I would have no time as well if I didn't have any system behind all this attention and engagement that I'm getting. You guys probably get, you specifically, you watching this probably get tens of thousands of views a day, tens of thousands of views a week on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. If you don't have a structure, of course you wouldn't have enough time. There's too many people. Social media is a new thing, by the way. Let's just be here. Let's just be clear here. It's a new thing. Of course you don't have time. You're dealing with tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, millions. There's really only two ways to make money off your audience. Let's actually just like go back to the foundations. When you actually zoom out, almost all of making money online comes down to one question. Are you selling your own thing or are you renting your trust out to somebody else? Simple as that. These are the only two ways to make money online. When you sell somebody else's thing, that's your AdSense, your sponsorships. And of course, AdSense you can't really control. I mean, YouTube runs ads no matter what. But that's your sponsorships. That's your brand deals. That's your affiliate links. These are all things where you're selling somebody else's thing. You're directing your audience to people who have built up trust specifically with you. You're sending them to somebody else and putting your trust in that person. Oh, and saying like, hey, these people are good enough for you guys to buy. You built all the trust, and then another company is paying you to borrow it for a minute so that they can sell their own product. And that can make money. I'm not going to pretend it can't, obviously, but think about why that brand is in your inbox in the first place. Think about why they need you and your audience. They want access to a relationship that they never built themselves. They want access to an audience that they can't build themselves. They want the trust you spent years earning. They want your people to look at their product through the credibility that you created. The real question becomes, if that trust is valuable enough that some company will literally pay you thousands to tens of thousands per engagement deal, like brand deal, sponsorship, whatever the case may be, just to borrow it, why isn't your own business treating it like it's worth even more than that? Because the truth of the matter is, it's worth even more than that. It's your audience, it's your trust. You're outsourcing your trust and brand that you've built to another company so that they can sell their thing using your own brand. How backwards is that? How messed up is that? And I understand it pays well, but you would be able to make way more for way less time and way more trust in your audience if you just did something yourself. When you sell your own thing, you're not letting the trust out anymore. You're aiming it at something you actually own. Your offer, your customers, your proof, your asset. You own all of these things. These are all yours. This is all your audience's stuff. That is a completely different game to be playing. And brand deals. This is the part I know you're definitely mad at me about because I know how much the brand deals pay. Trust me. Before you hear that all what I'm saying and go, okay, who is this random deal? I can't even speak. Who's this random dude telling me brand deals are bad? Let me tell you where this is actually coming from because this is not just my opinion. This is from directly actually working with real creators who are at the top of their space, the top of their niche, and who get the top brand deals. I've worked with creators who have well over. Why are you making that sound? I've worked with creators who have well over 100,000 followers and subs across their platforms. People who are genuinely at the top of their niche, really good at what they do. Like literally, all the best brand deals go to them. And more than one of them had told me, basically straight to my face, that taking brand deals start to feel like they were kind of selling out their own audience. Because at the end of the day, it is, dude. Let's just be real. You don't actually use the product that you're promoting. You don't. Like you're just, let's be real. You want the money. Of course, you want to feel aligned. You want to. I want the brand to feel like something I would actually use. And yeah, sure, you might actually use it, but are you using it or not? That's the real question. That's not me putting words in anybody's mouth. That's not me just saying stuff. This is them directly saying that. This is people who are at the top of their niche. I'm telling you, who get all the brand deals. On top of that, they also said brand deals are drying up as well. They're not as steady or as common as people think they are, and they're a pain to deal with. You've got to get the outreach, or sometimes you get the inbounds as well, but you also have the back and forth on the rates, the briefs, the revisions, getting your integrations improved. Like then you actually have to post it and create the piece of content, and then sitting there for weeks to get paid. And the second it's done, you're back at zero because it's not consistent. It's not like a specific thing where like, oh, you might get another brander from this specific part. Like it's one and done. And of course, yes, you can start to build a relationship, but that takes time. When all that time you could be using for just your own brand. You're back at zero, hoping the next one shows up once the first brand deal is done. Maybe it does. Maybe their budget got cut. Maybe reviews dipped, and now they want to pay you less for more work. These are all the variables that can affect you. I'm not telling you that brand deals are evil that you should never take one. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you have actually taken the time and years and months it's taken to actually build real trust with the people in your audience who love you, trust you, infatuated with you, leaning on brand deals as your main thing, it's just rough, dude. It's stressful. The money is shrinking, and the worst part is you're basically letting other companies be the only ones putting a serious offer in front of an audience that you built yourself. So if some brand will pay you thousands just to borrow your audience's attention for 30 seconds, it should make you stop and go and be like, okay, Why am I not putting something of my own in front of them that's worth way more than that? Because let's be real, you would make a ton more with way less time and energy investment. Low ticket feels safe, and then the math gets ugly. So low ticket stuff is another one of these types of things I see with creators. The creators are always selling something cheap because they feel as if like, oh, my audience is gonna pay something expensive. Oh, I think if it's cheap, it'll make it easier for them. It'll get them better results. Oh man, it's gonna just be easier for them to consume. This is the templates. That's the mini courses, the cheap little community, the digital products, the $27 thing, the $100 thing, the $97 thing. And obviously, I get why creators love them. It feels safe. It feels like, hey, this is something that people will easily buy, and I still feel like I can help them. So what that means, in basically them saying it feels safe, is that there's less guilt, there's less pressure, and way less fear of looking greedy. It's easy to go, hey, I made this cheap little thing if you want it, but you have to ask yourself, like, is this actually building the business that you want? Because let's just be real, cheap products are simply enough. They come with math that is very hard to beat unless you are constantly on the content hamster wheel. You need way more buyers, which means way more traffic, which means you're launching constantly and cranking out even more content just to feed the fact that people are buying these low ticket items. And because, like I said, the thing is cheap, you don't have the margin to make it actually great or the time to make it actually great. So the support of that cheap thing also eats into you and your time and your energy. So that makes you stuck needing way more people to buy, which means you need more views, you need more attention, which is just another hamster wheel in itself. Which means, like I said, you're right back feeding the content machine, which is the exact treadmill you're trying to get off of in the first place. Let's be real. You don't want to just be making content just to make money. You want your money to make money for you. I'm not saying that low ticket is stupid. I encourage all my creators that we work with to implement and add in low ticket eventually, but it's just something that needs to be implemented later. It's not something that should be the front end, the first thing that you sell to somebody. It only works once you actually have a real engine running. But when it's your main thing way too early, it's just a volume trap. It's just gonna keep you posting and doing more and more and more and more and more just to make more money. And you don't want to be doing having to do more to make money. You want the stuff you want to do as little for as much output as possible. Naturally, of course. Low ticket is the opposite of that. It's like you're doing 80% of work for 20% of output. No, no, no. That's 20/80. We're trying to do 20/80. No, that's 80/20. Sorry. We're trying to do 20/80. Sorry. So courses are sometimes just procrastination as well in a nicer outfit because yeah, courses are tricky. A course can be an amazing asset. But a lot of creators they build the whole course before they've actually checked if anyone even wants to buy the thing that they're creating. They will spend months writing modules, recording lessons, building slides, changing the name, adding bonuses, and tweaking and iterating. Then they finally launch it and find out the audience wanted something completely different or something more hands-on, or this isn't they didn't want this module or that module, or the pricing's also people aren't buying it, or it just doesn't even align with your audience in the first place, or that the pain was real but the offer just didn't feel urgent enough. And let me sip my water really quick because I want to tell you about this little story that I just came across recently in the past week. So I was looking across Instagram and there was a specific creator that I kind of came across, and I was seeing that hey, this person had a call to action for people to come and waitlist so that they could hear their like when their YouTube course comes out. So this is really a case in point example of somebody who's spending all this time, kind of yeah, they're building up a waitlist, but at the same time, like rather than telling people to come and waitlist, like why don't you just ask people what they want in context to this YouTube course? And what is kind of interesting about this is I looked across their page and even 22 weeks prior to this 3 weeks, which is like what, 4 or 5 months, excuse me, they were still telling people to come and waitlist for their YouTube course. And I'm like, dude, it should not take you that long. It should not take you that long to get all of this built and launched and just finished. Really, well, you shouldn't even build a course at first. What you should do is just launch something quickly, fast, figure out what they want, and then use what your audience has actually bought and put money into and invest into to figure out what to actually build. This person is building for months, and they might not even get that many sales for all the effort that they're putting into building. And like I said, this is where so many creators burn months while telling themselves they don't have time because it's the building. It feels safe and selling. It feels scary. So, like I said, like this person who has spent months just building a course that they don't even know if people are going to buy it. Like, yeah, they're commenting wait lists, but that's just because it just piquing their interest. These creators, they just keep hiding in the building. But the market does not care how long you worked on your course. They don't care if you worked on it for 2 years. If it, they only care if the promise is worth buying, if it appeals to their specific situation. It's why I'm a big fan of just launching very, very quickly. Just launch and figure out what they want as you go. A launch forces the market to actually talk back to you, and it's that exact feedback that tells you basically what you need to build. It tells you what people really want, what they're confused about, what price feels real to them, who's actually serious, because you can comment waitlist and still be literally 10% or 0% serious. A good launch can save you from spending 6 months like this person building the completely wrong thing. In a real launch, it takes like 2 weeks max. Like literally, we set you up in 7 days. You'll be launched in 16 days total, and you would have already made 20K to 60K, which is the money you want to make when you launch it anyway. You don't have to wait months still to do so. Memberships are another one that as well look amazing on paper. That's going to be the recurring money, a community, cash coming in every single month. Of course, sounds like the dream, huh? Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. But it really comes down to how you're running the thing. Because if you're the one making all the content, doing the supports, running the calls, keeping the community alive, being the face of the entire operation, tell me, like, please tell me, how is that? Oh, passive income, recurring money, cash coming in every single month. Like, that's just another job. Because case in point, I'll give you an example as a creator that we worked with named Dusty and Aaron. They have a vegan family lifestyle channel, about 200,000 subscribers. They have an email list of about 20,000 people as well. They were making real money for sure, not as much money as they should have been making with the amount of size audience that they have, but they were making around like 15, 20 grand a month. Like I said, not close to the amount that they should be making based on the amount of following and brand trust that they had, but that's okay. We fixed that. They had completely plateaued. And on top of that, their views were actually starting to slide, which kind of ruins the fact that they run a membership model. They were running a membership at $79 a year with around 600 people in it. So I want you to do the math on that. That's $47,000 a year, which is a full time job on top of running their channel, because they have to continuously keep their community fed, doing calls that people weren't even showing up to, because nobody takes $79 a year seriously. They just buy it like off impulse. So we built one specific high ticket offer behind their channel. We set up a simple funnel, and their very first launch, we just kind of ran off 16 sales calls. 16 sales calls, and we pulled in $28,000 in 4 days. And I know sales calls may sound scary to you. They don't have to be. They're not even sales calls. It's just kind of like a conversation between Dusty and Aaron and their audience. Simple as that. They pulled in 28,000 in 4 days, and that's what his membership would have made him in 7 months. We did this in only 4 days with just one simple high ticket offer. So imagine running something for basically another full time job and making only 47,000 a year when we made 28,000 in 4 days for way less fulfillment and way simpler of a way of getting them results. So they had the same audience, same content, same subscriber account. The only thing that actually changed was the infrastructure behind all of that stuff. And like I said, it's kind of the whole point of this entire video, because a lot of the time your audience is not the thing holding you back. It's just the fact that you have everything sitting behind your audience that you have not captured yet. Like Dusty and Aaron, we added a single subscriber. We didn't change anything. We just fixed the things that are behind the channel, and voila, like it's magic. 28,000 4 days was revealed. And the truth of the matter is, I know for a fact the money that they made is something that could also be applicable and true for you. You just need to build the correct things. But most likely you're not going to, because you're focused on the wrong thing, because the creator monetization space is always going to tell you to focus on the wrong thing. So stop listening to them, listen to me, subscribe and follow me on Instagram, because I will tell you the real of how to actually make money, proper money, like 6, 7, 8 figures as a creator. And I also want to be fair here, because somebody watching this is probably already thinking, yeah, but high ticket is time consuming too. And like I said earlier, it can be only if you build it like a mess. In reality, high ticket can be a very, very simple job where you only need to work a couple hours a day. Simple as that, but it depends on how you build it. If high ticket to you means random one on one access forever, totally custom everything for every single person that enters into your high ticket offer, no real curriculum, no boundaries, no onboarding, no system behind any of these things, then yeah, of course, you build yourself a more expensive job. Of course, it's going to be a mess. Of course, it's going to be time consuming. But that's why the offer can't just be expensive. It has to actually be built right. Just like with everything, it needs to actually be built right. But it's not worth even building right the lower price stuff, because the amount of effort it takes is still a lot compared to just doing something high ticket where you're actually getting paid for your expertise, your effort, and still running something where it's smooth and doesn't take as much time as you think. All you need is a clear promise, a clear path for people to follow, a way to deliver it that you can repeat over and over again without dying in time and energy expenditure. You need a clean way to bring people in and a way to collect proof on the back end. That is all a high ticket offer requires. That's it. That is all you need to ensure your high ticket is manageable no matter how many people you have going through it. Because the price tag is not what makes high ticket powerful. It's actually the structure underneath. Like you can have something very repeatable and low intensity and still have freedom to do anything that you want to do in your life if you have the proper structure underneath it and still get paid a fat amount because it's high ticket. If you charge more but if and stay disorganized, of course, yeah, you're going to build something that's super stressful, and it's just going to be a more stressful version of the same problem that we've been discussing this entire document. Like simple as that. So this is why focusing is probably going to feel like you're losing money, but why it actually isn't. Because a lot of you are going to be hearing this and being like, okay, but if I cut all these other income streams, won't I lose money? And I get, yeah, that's going to be scary because you can see exactly what you would be giving up. You're going to be giving up your sponsor checks, your brand deals, your affiliates, your membership payments hitting every month. But what you actually can't see is the money that focusing on one premium offer would actually create for you. It would make 5 to 10 times way more money for way less effort. Literally, if you just stopped all of the splitting of the focus between all these different things and just kind of focus on one premium thing, you would make way more money for way less effort. Now we're talking about high 5 figure months and high 6 figure months consistently, not like because you get this special brand deal. No, high 5 figure months and 6 figure months consistently because you're putting all of your attention and focus into one thing and getting as many people to go through that one thing as possible. And yeah, that's the whole reason it feels like you're going to be losing something because you're staying right at the stuff that you would be removing. But when you actually focus, the main thing tends to get way bigger. And the main thing is selling something through your own expertise, brand trust, and audience attention. Something that's high price and something that we're completely focusing just solely on that. Your audience finally gets what you do. Your content gets easier because it's all pointing at one singular problem now. Your sales message gets sharper, your delivery gets better, your proof gets stronger, and every launch that you do makes the next one easier than the last because you're building momentum and it's compounding. Yes, we love compounding momentum. So you're not actually losing money by cutting out all these this noise, like the streams of income that like is like just your attention just split across everything. You're just finally clearing out everything that's been crowding the one thing that could make you the most money with your brand and the brand you just built across social media. And the truth of the matter is, you already built the hardest part of this. And this is exactly why the speed of this and the speed of how much money you can make and how fast you can make it can almost feel unfair. And that's kind of like the sort of reasoning and kind of my why for kind of creating this video because you think you're starting from zero and like you're thinking like, oh man, all right, all these things are clearly kind of bottlenecking me. I feel like I have no time, I have no energy, and yeah, I'm making money, but man, like, what if I just focus on one singular thing? Man, it feels like I'm gonna have to rebuild all this. It's gonna take a long time. I'm gonna be broke. I'm not gonna make that much money. When in reality, you're not starting from zero at all. You've already done something that pretty much 99% of people on the internet have never done. If you're an educational creator and your audience trusts you, you already did the single hardest thing that there is. That's going to be building attention and credibility and a bunch of people who've been listening to you and your thinking for years and actually care about you. A cold business does not have that. Some random agency does not have that. Yes, of course, 100%. You are different compared to these people. When you finally put the right offer behind that trust, it can move fast. I'm talking about like 7 days or less fast. I'm talking about the next week, you could have 20, 30, $40,000 from just simply presenting one simple high ticket right premium offer to your audience right now. Like literally this week after watching this video, you can watch some of the other videos on my YouTube channel to learn how to actually do this. And I'm telling you, in the next week, you could have 20, 30, $40,000 in your pocket. If you watch this video and actually implement this, screenshot it and send it to my DMs, and I'll give you like a prize or something. Um, and this is not because it's a hack. I'm telling you, it's not because it's a hack. It just moves fast because the relationship that you have on your brand and with your audience, it took years to build. It took a very long time. That's why you're able to unlock sort of the money from your audience because you already took the time to build that relationship with them to where they trust you and want to give you money already. You are not creating demand out of thin air. You're just finally catching demand that's been sitting there with nowhere to go. With nowhere to go. Sorry. Take Cecil, one of our partners that teaches piano. 67,000 subscribers, sitting in Ghana, making under $1,000 a month off AdSense. Like, I mean, well, sorry, $1,000 a month off AdSense. He had way more subscribers and brand than most people have, and he was only making $1,000. less than $1,000 actually. And he was honestly terrified to sell anything to his audience. He didn't really know what to sell. He was already trying to sell stuff, but it wasn't really working. He believed that the second he offered something, people would feel, use, and bounce, and that his niche just didn't work for anything high ticket anyway because he's a piano teacher. Like he has piano expertise. What we did is we built him a real mentorship offer and a simple funnel. He did $10,000 in 6 days. He did it in less than a week. Setup took very, very quickly as well. He did it in less than a week. His audience didn't leave. They actually started messaging him and sending like comments and all these different things of like, hey, like finally, I've been waiting for you to put something out like this. Like your audience is waiting for you. Like your audience is actually waiting for you. Why are people calling me? So the fear that he'd been carrying for years was simply just made up. And like these were some of the messages that like we were actually able to get. Like being able to play piano would be a dream. I used to play keyboard when I was younger, but I stopped to focus on my studies. It's one of my biggest regrets. I didn't keep going. Give people giving all these reasons, and we had a whole like hundreds of messages of these, like of people telling like Cecil like why like this is something like I wanted to do, and this is why like I believe I need to do it now. And this works especially well if you're an educational creator because your audience is not here to just be entertained. They're actually here to actually solve their problems. They're here to learn something. They're here to get better, to get a result from your content. That means your channel is already packed with people who could, will, and want to buy from you. Obviously, it's not going to be everybody, but it's going to be a lot of people because you don't need that many people to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a month or a year, whatever your goals are. If you've got even 10, 50, 100, 200,000 people watching you to learn something, even 5,000 people, and the problem you solve is worth real money, there is a business sitting behind all that attention. Literally right now, literally today, I'm gonna sound like a broken record. Like I'm not gonna be able to say it enough times of how much value that you could unlock within literally the next 7 days. The mistake is acting like the front of the channel is the whole game. More views, more subs, and more uploads. No, you don't even need to touch your content. For Dusty and Aaron and Cecil, we didn't even touch their content. All we did was build the systems behind all of their content. The money is almost always behind the channel. That's going to be in the offer, the launch, the back end, the proof, and that's pretty much every single creator. Every single creator, it's the same formula. They don't need to. We don't need to touch the content. We just need to touch the stuff behind the brand. And that's exactly why I don't really care about teaching creators how to get more views. You guys don't need more views, dude. You already have thousands of people. I don't think you realize and understand how much it is to have thousands of people trusting you and loving you and wanting your attention. There's already a million people doing these things of teaching creators how to get more views. What I care about is the part that nobody is talking about, which is the actual business behind the channel. I want to actually help educational creators turn their attention into large dollars. And yes, I believe educational YouTubers are the most powerful people on the internet. Most of them just do not have the full business actually built behind their channel. And that is why D-Wade's acquisition has come to creation, if I do say so myself. Bless you. So the one engine method. So this is what I would do if I had all this scattered energy and all these different streams of income and not kind of knowing where I want to move forward with. This is what I would do. And I call this the one engine method. And it's very, very simple. So instead of 10 different little ways to make you money that, yes, may combine to a decent amount, have something where everything you do points into just one simple main engine for your business. So that's going to be one real offer, one way you launch it, one back end, one way you deliver, one way you turn result into proof. Your content points at that engine and that engine solely. Your email list points at that engine and that engine solely. Your DMs point at that engine and that engine solely. And your proof feeds right back into the engine, which makes the engine even stronger because people love to see proof. People love to see that, hey, there are other people like me who are also getting results. And with each every single day and time and every time this one engine runs, the thing gets better, the thing gets more premium, the thing gets more proof, the thing gets more money printing out of it. And inside that one engine is everything that actually makes your brand a business. That's going to be the offer, what you're selling and who it's for. That's going to be the launch, which is really just how you get people to care enough to move now rather than someday. Like people may see something and still not move if there aren't specific elements that cause them to move. And that's what a launch is. A launch is just a psychological event that causes people to want to take urgency and action now on a specific thing that somebody's selling. Then you also have the back end. That's going to be all the stuff that happens after somebody raises their hand and shows some interest. Where they go, what they see, and how they end up on a call with you. That's the back end stuff. Then you also have how you actually deliver the result without becoming a slave to it. Because you want to be able to still get results without putting all of your time and energy into, slaving away for people who buy from you. We're moving away from this model. We want to be creators and business owners and CEOs who, are able to make money but don't are able to still live a life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, our work doesn't have to be our entire thing. It does not, unless you want it to be. And then the last thing is you have the proof where every customer win turns into content. That content pulls in more people, and those people feed in your next launches and next purchases of whatever it is that you're selling of, the specific one premium offer. That's an engine. And of course, it's a completely different animal than just having a bunch of random ways to get paid, but it's the simplest path forward to where you can still have time, energy, and both money. So all three of these things in abundance. Not, you don't have to sacrifice one for the other. You want to have these three things in abundance. Energy for sure. You want to feel good, of course, in your day to day. And once that thing exists, your content just stops being the whole business and becomes the thing that feeds the business. So this is the creator versus CEO. If you're being real with yourself, the only reason you trust all the scattered stuff is because it's what you already know. That's the truth of the matter. That's the only thing that the creator monetization space is going to say. It's what you already know. You trust posting, you trust the brand deals, you trust your membership, you trust whatever's already making you a little money. This is normal. But a question that you need to ask is, that same familiar stuff the exact thing keeping you stuck in inconsistent income and energy slash mood cycles? Because this is where the actual shift has to happen. This is the part where you must do yourself. Nobody can help you for this part. Like, are you going to stay familiar and stay low energy, inconsistent moods, up and down, inconsistent income, most importantly, as well? Or are you going to actually think and think critically and be like, oh, okay, clearly something needs to change. What is it that's going to change? And after I hear the truth, is that going to make me change? After hearing the truth, a creator looks at all of everything that they've learned today and they say, okay, how do I fit this into my schedule? But somebody running a real business, a real brand, acts as the opposite. What do I need to take off my plate so this can become the main thing? What can I do so that I can build that main thing? One of them is trying to stack the business on top of all this chaos. The other one's willing to clear space for it. So, what are you currently doing monetization wise that you can kind of remove yourself from and kind of trickle yourself away from, so that you can start to just build this one main thing that's going to make you more money than all these different things combined with way more time and way more energy? Because buying your time back was never about a cleaner calendar. It's about picking a better game to play. If your game is just more content and more scattered income, your calendar is obviously going to look like how it's always looked forever. But the day you decide the business behind the channel is the real game that you're playing, the whole thing kind of recognizes itself around that. Not recognizes, I'm sorry, reorganizes itself around that. So now you have a calendar that feels more aligned. You have more time for stuff. You feel more energy and more aligned. You feel like you don't have to work as hard because you're making more money for something that's way less complicated than all the other stuff that you're doing prior. Like, that's awesome to feel like you're making a ton of money, but you still feel like you have time and time to do stuff, time to do things that you love. Energy, like the vigor to want to explore and do new things and feel like you're enjoying the work. So please, please, please stop being just a content creator and start being the CEO of your own education business slash brand. And this is what I would actually do if I were you, like, genuinely. So if I were you and I felt buried under all of this, I would not add one more thing. I'd go look at everything I'm currently doing to make money. I would ask myself this one honest question about, each piece of it. Like, what is kind of taking the most amount of time, and does this actually feed the business that I want to build in the future? And anything that does not like support that specific goal, question why it's still eating so much of your attention. Like, question, really, really sit down and question. Then what I would do is I'd take the single most valuable problem my audience already trusts me to solve. I would go ahead and ask them, what is the single most valuable problem that you want me to solve? Like, what do you actually struggle with? Then I would turn that into one real offer. I'd build a launch around it using the trust and the content and the email list and the audience that you already have and already have built. I'd sell it in 7 days, a week. I would not spend 6 months trying to build something. I would just sell it, get the feedback, and from that feedback, then I can know and understand and I can use that feedback to figure out, okay, what actually is it that I need to build? What is it that I need to tweak? What is it that I need to iterate? Make money and iterate and tweak as you make money. You don't have to wait 6 months to do so. Then I would finally just deliver it at a really high level. I'll figure out how to make sure I can deliver it at a high level while still keeping all my time and energy. I would make sure I'm getting proof from delivering at a high level, and then use that proof to feed back into the content that I create, which makes selling the thing that you are selling easier and easier and easier as time goes on. And that's pretty much the point where your work starts to stack on itself and starts to compound, and where your work really works for you. Like, you're making money without really having to do too much effort, because the work that you've put in compounds over time, and you're making more and more money over time, and while still keeping pretty much the same inputs. And that's how you can go to actually making money consistently without having to reset back to zero every week, every month, whatever the case may be. So if you're a creator and you feel like you have no time, the truth is I believe you, I really do, because after we just explained everything, of course, if your attention is split between all these different things, how the heck are you going to have time? But what I want you to do is go take an honest look at what your current way of making money is actually demanding from you. That's going to be the brand deals. That's going to be the cheap products that you're selling, the digital products. That's going to be the membership. That's going to be the course, the random coaching, the DMs, the upload schedule, all the different things that you're doing currently. Just ask yourself one thing: is any of this actually buying my time back? Or is it just making me more dependent on the next post, the next sponsor, and the next spike in views? Just ask yourself that question. If you can ask yourself that question honestly, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out what the answer is. The goal here was never to work less because you're lazy. The goal is to just stop doing work that resets back to zero every single week. You have already built the hard part. You have a skill that nobody else in the world has. You built an audience. They trust you. The actual game is building the actual business behind this audience, behind your brand, behind all of this trust, so that you can actually make money while still serving them at the highest level, because you're not serving them at the highest level if you have all these different things that are taking away your attention and that you're promoting that are you're kind of really just doing to make money. This is what I help educational creators do. And what I'm building D-Ways Acquisition to be. I'm building $100 million firm specifically to help creators with this exact problem. If you have the audience and the trust, but the business behind it feels scattered and stuck, it's probably the exact thing that you need to fix next. And if you want to watch me build $100 million firm out of my parents' basement and beyond in real time, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. More value coming. Stay tuned. I'll see you soon. Peace.